Hey friends, listen, Patrice here on Keeping It Teacherish. I want to share with you that if you've got an interview coming up, here's what I was thinking about saying if I had an interview. Turns out I didn't have an interview. Just a whole lot of things happened and the Lord really moved for me. But I want to help you and let you know kind of what surprised me. So first thing is the interview setup. So you want to know if it's in person or if it's virtual. Of course, that requires two different things. Thank goodness COVID is over. And so we're finally meeting people in person again. I think that is the best way to show people your personality because you can use the nonverbals, you can use your hands, and people really get to feel your energy and all the things that you're bringing, as opposed to trying to convey that virtually is sometimes very difficult to do. So again, I'll let you know exactly what happened for my interview process. But a couple of the questions that I was preparing myself for is number one, tell us about yourself. You want to think of maybe 2 to 3 top qualities that you really have that mean the most to you. For example, for me, I'm a very passionate person. I have a heart for people and for growing. That's it, right? And then share a brief bit about your experience, right? And what led you to this moment. So I'm going to, number one, share the 2 to 3 qualities that I really like about myself. Number 2, I'm going to add in my experience. And this is probably one sentence, sentence 2, and then sentence 3 will probably be, what do you bring to the table? So for me, I bring a lot of energy. I bring organization and I care about everything that I do. Okay. And so then you just conclude with, I'm excited to begin my journey with, name of school. Question 2, why do you want to work for this school? Well, in order to answer this question, you're going to have to research the school. So you're going to have to find out what's their mission, what's their values, and you want to incorporate, again, 2 to 3 values that are the schools that matter to you. So for example, I am drawn to the culture of kingdom teaching because I'm actually going to a Christian private school. And so that is something that I really like, this idea of we're not just teaching, education, but we're also equipping the total person and coming alongside families. Right. So easily I have taken the values of my school, those things that mean something to me, and I've put them into, again, 2 to 3 sentences. You don't want to be long winded, but you also don't want to be like, because I need a job. And they're like, you still need one. And just passionately speak to that. And in an interview, that's what you want to do. You want to set yourself up for success, making sure that you're speaking to the things that you actually care about and that actually mean something to you. Okay. So you can do this by studying their school website, mention something specific, right? I like to go to the values because that's the easiest for me, but maybe there's a program that you like. Maybe there's a mission or a culture or a statement that they have that really speaks out to you, but you want to make sure that it's something that whoever is interviewing you will be able to identify with, and they'll be she did her research. I like that. Okay. Number 3, this is a big one when it comes to teaching interviews. How do you handle classroom management? So you've actually got to spend time on this and come up with a plan, even if you haven't had an opportunity to implement one. There are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of classroom management tools and plans online. Basically, I believe that classroom management starts with building strong relationships and clear expectations from day one, right? I believe that if my students know me, they know my expectations, they know what I'm looking for, they know how to deliver. Also, I am a very big advocate that a positive and structured environment is where students know what's expected of them and they also know what to do and when to do it, right? And so you can share that as your plan if you want to, and change up some of the words. I'm fixing braids. Change up some of the words or whatever the case is, but whatever plan you come up with, it doesn't have to work. Okay. So don't feel like, oh man, I haven't had a chance to implement this or haven't tested it, so I don't know if it works. It doesn't have to work yet. This is just my plan as of right now. This is what I think will work, or this is what I want to try, right? And also make sure you pick a management tool or style or plan that you actually believe in. It sounds a little more convincing and believable. Number 4, do you plan your lessons or meet the needs of all learners? Okay, so this is a little different for me. For me, at my school, the lesson plans and curriculum is already laid out. And so my job is just to come alongside with this information. Now, if you're going to a school like mine, this will not be a question that you'll have asked, right? Because those lesson plans are already done for you. Of course, going back to my classroom management style, making sure that building those strong relationships also help me to identify how to support my learners, you know? And so this is where you can also incorporate, if you plan on using exit tickets or quick assessments or check-ins to adjust instruction, whatever that looks like. And again, it does not have to be tested, tried and tested, and like just something that shows I've thought about it, I have planned for this, I am ready for this. Okay. Number 5, you've been talking about relationships all this time. We want to know, how do you build relationships with students and with parents? Well, first thing is, I believe that relationships are everything in teaching. Okay, so I plan to connect with the students by learning about their interests, greeting them by name, and creating a space for them to share, right? We're starting that on day 1. That's my plan, regardless of what school I'm in, where we go. That's my plan. And then as for parents, I'll communicate early and often, not just when there's a problem. As a parent, I believe it is important for teachers to communicate with the parent, especially when there is not a problem, so that a parent when they see your name or they see an email from you, they automatically assume Johnny has done something bad. No, I want them, when they see my name, to not know what I'm talking, like what's going to happen, kind of feel excited too, because I'm sending home positive notes, I'm sending emails, or if your school allows you to use different apps like Class Dojo or Remind, which will help you to build trust and then also keep the home and school connection strong. That is very important. So even if you're new to this, even if you've never done this before, speak with intention and confidence, because this will show that it actually matters to you. All right. Number 6, I have a list here that I'm going by. Number 6, what do you do if a student is being disruptive? Slap Johnny. I'm joking. We're not doing that, guys. You can't. Okay. But seriously, you have to think about, how are you going to handle if a student is being disruptive in your class or what's going on. All right. So first, I try to understand what's behind the behavior, what's going on. That's going to help, because we have relationship. I understand that when Johnny gets bored, Johnny gets talkative. And that also tells me Johnny's a really smart kid, right? And so I've got to make sure that the work is a little more challenging, but making sure that you also understand that just because disruptions happen, it doesn't just mean that there is defiance present. Okay. And so telling them I'll use strategies like redirection or a quiet conversation to de-escalate the moment, and then keep the rest of the class on task. So I'm not going to allow whatever's happening with this disruptive student to disrupt our entire environment. I am going to take control. And if necessary, I'm going to follow up to find a solution with that student, with the counselor, with the parent, whatever the case is, because my goal is to always protect learning and restore relationship. Okay. Lastly, do you have any questions for us? Listen. Every interview you ever have in your life, you always have questions. Okay. Even if you have to, I should be a spokesperson for ChatGPT. If you have to say on ChatGPT, hey, I have a job interview today at such and such a school for such and such role, give me questions that I should ask them and tell me what I'm not thinking about. Like, what have I not thought about? So you want to make sure that you ask all the questions. Here are 3 questions you can ask where they're going to be like, And I'm telling you, I love asking questions in interviews. It's an opportunity for you to kind of show your personality and also show what matters to you. But it also, you get to show them that you are a thinker. And I love when they're like, good question. good question. Like, yeah, every question I ask is good. Seriously. Okay, so you can use these three. If you can't think of any, I would definitely challenge you to look into your school, look into getting a better understanding so you do have questions that you actually get the information you need, right? There's nothing worse than leaving an interview, having a question, and not knowing the answer or where to get it, right? That's one of those, man, I should have thought of that. I should have asked that. Okay, so number one, what kind of support or mentorship is available for new teachers at this school or in this district? Right? That's a good one. How does your team collaborate or plan together throughout the school year? So this is one of the questions I had. So do I do everything? Is there a teaching team, or like, how does that work? Because I also want to be aware of how much work I'm going to have to put into this as far as lesson plans. Am I coming from scratch? Do you already have something? Whatever the case is. And then lastly, you can ask, what are some qualities of teachers who thrive here? Right? What are some measurables so that I know if I'm doing a good job or not? Because I don't want to be caught off guard. Right? So those are just 3 questions that you can ask. Let me tell you what surprised me. So basically, I was going in for an interview to be a substitute teacher, which, it's a sub. It ain't that deep, right? Just go be yourself, girl. They like you. So I'm sitting in here, we're interviewing about a sub position. I did the application, I sent my resume. And so, like I said in my last video, I'll attach it here or pin it here, is that basically I made sure that my resume was just for a teaching position, right? So nothing else that did not align with teaching or management or, that kind of thing with children in some way. So I'm sitting in the room. There's just me and the head of school, and we're having a conversation about the substitute application. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's like, yeah, I looked at your resume and you're good on the substitute teaching. Like, I'm gonna allow that. That's fine. But I really want to know if you're interested in, maybe something a little more long term. And I'm thinking, what are we talking about here? What's happening? Right? And so he goes through my resume and like looking at my experience, my certifications and all the things. And he's like, I think you are really qualified to do something a little differently here. Now, mind you, it's a private school. And low key, private school is an investment, right? So, and we have 3 kids. Oh, so it's either go to school now or go to college. Which one? So anyways, for real. So I was totally surprised when he began to tell me about the positions that they had available and the different positions that I actually qualified for based on my resume. And so he was like, I've been thinking, would you be interested in taking a teaching position here at our school? And immediately I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know. Right. And so we kind of talked through what that looked like, what the expectation would be, and all the things. And I was really surprised because I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions. And so I was really surprised that he was like, yeah, I'm looking at your resume. You absolutely do qualify for this teaching role. And so long story short, he mentioned to me that he had a 4th grade teaching position available. And, just that he felt like personality wise and based off of all of the things that I had said as it pertains to substitute teaching, that it just aligns so well. And then also the values that I have, we got a chance to kind of talk about family a little bit. And so being confident, even though you're new, even though it's a different situation, being confident and 100% yourself, I think that's important. And so he was able to see all of that, experience all of that, all the hype, the energy, like all the things, right? And I mean, literally was like, if you want it, you can have it. By the way, we need to do a teaching sample. And that was like on the way out the door. So hopefully that'll happen for you. Hopefully you'll go inside and you'll go into your interview and you will be rocking it because you're going to be stylish. You're going to have your outfit together. Your hair is going to be laid. Yes, ma'am. And you're going to have confidence. And most importantly, you're going to be yourself. And so you're going to sit in that room. I don't care if they have 100 people on the panel or just 1 or 2. You are going to be yourself because you are amazing. You are gifted and you are a special person. It takes a special person to desire to teach young minds, especially the way that things are going in this generation, the way that things are going in this world. And so the sheer fact that you desire to do that is enough. You are an angel literally in this world, right? And so you can do whatever. And I'm telling you, child, if I can do this, you can too. So don't wait until you're ready. Just go for it. You can do it. You've got it. Let me know if you have any interview questions that you've been asked that I didn't mention. And then also what you're nervous about. What are the things that are like, I don't think you mentioned this. I'm thinking about this. What do you think? Let's have dialogue in the comments. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe. And as we're keeping it real, my girl, we're keeping it teacherish.